the reel-to-reel picture show. And now here's our host, Pat Fuller.
Our show offers you something that no other shopping show has to offer. Let me say that one more time.
You wanted to give your prizes here and that you were here for that great cause of anti-bullying. And there's no way that I can stand here and take all of that from you.
Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Game Show Garbage. I'm Robert Seidelman. You know, I haven't done a host in a long time, so I figure I should take a look at the long list of requests that I have and see if I can find one that's worthy of it right now. And sure enough, I found one who went at hosting with a 4 out of 10 momentum factor and didn't care whatsoever, was only in it for the check. No, I'm not talking about Bob Barker during his last 3 years on The Price is Right. I'm talking about the host of ESPN's Double Dutch competitions. So, Randy and Jason, who is it?
Take it away, former game show host David Sparks.
David Sparks is someone who's been doing the TV emceeing gig for 30 years, currently hosting shows on the outdoor channel such as Outfitter Showcase. I haven't seen the show, mainly because stuff like hunting and professional logger competitions are stuff that's in the category of not for me. When it comes to game shows, he's hosted 2 that made air and a handful of pilots. One of the pilots is the Mark Goodson Show on a roll. The best way to describe it is High Rollers mixed with Wheel of Fortune and the Doublemint Twins. Sadly, this would wind up being David Sparks' best work. He seemed looser, enjoyed himself, and acted like he cared. I can attest this to working with someone who cared about the business in Mark Goodson. He always tried to get the best out of his staff and always seemed to get a good job. Well, mostly. I still need to do Mind Readers because that didn't work for Dick Martin. But the point is that he had a good staff and helped get him loose and caring about the show. When he wasn't doing a Mark Goodson's pilot or anything like that, he just clocked out and didn't care whatsoever. For proof, I give you the new Crosswits.
It's the first word in television game shows, the all-new Crosswits. Here to help us figure it all out is our host, David Ford.
And a very warm welcome to you folks at home, as well as you nice people in the studio audience. Lovely to see you. We got great teams today, and I do mean great.
The new Crosswits was a revival of the 70s syndication hit by Jack Clark. David Sparks hosted this version and couldn't hold a candle to him. Mainly because we could tell by the interviews he had the aura of couldn't be arsed. He seemed to brush off the contestant stories, and the celebrity plugs like men's rights activists brush off any sense of human decency. Want proof the producers knew he was trash? Check him out reading the rules.
You'll be given clues to words in a crossword puzzle, all of which add up to a person, place, or thing. Answering the clues correctly gives you control of the game, and the letters in these answers are worth points. Stars can help with the crossword answers, but only the contestant can solve the puzzle for bonus points.
Thank you, David. I mean Michelle. Him hosting the show isn't better, since he seems limp in reading the clues and congratulating the contestants as well. Some of the fault could be given to the writing of this version. The original version had some cleverness in the clues, either revolving around a theme or some stupid but charming prop. These are more straightforward than anything else, but it seemed like they had to rush everything just to get all 3 puzzles in, so that's why David could come off as nothing more than a hollow, uncaring shell. Honestly, there's not much to say about the new Crosswits itself. It's not a bad game show, it's a faithful revival of the old show. The only big thing I have to say about this is that the card game at the end feels really tacked on, and David Sparks' emotion towards that rivals that of the giant Easter Island heads in blandness. I would recommend an episode or 2, just to see the game and not for David Sparks. And now we move forward to 1990 and David Sparks working with Dan Enright. And it's a bonus! It's a mid-induction induction. David Sparks hosted one of the worst game shows in 1990. It's bland, insipid, and it was paired up with Hold Everything. So with that type of pedigree, it's ready-made for game show garbage. Let's talk about all about the opposite sex.
What do men know about women? What do women know about men? In a moment, we'll find out. We'll find out who knows all about the opposite sex. And now, our host of All About the Opposite Sex, David Sparks.
Thank you very much, everybody, and welcome to All About the Opposite Sex, where we tackle that age-old question, who knows more about the opposite sex?
All About the Opposite Sex was another one of those men versus women shows that seemed to go over about as well as a fart in church. In this game show, a team of 7 men and a team of 7 women competed against each other to see who knows what group better by answering hypothetical multiple-choice questions and predicting how the group would answer. Yes, it's one of those lame ESP games that went over so well in the 70s, but with a scruples tint. Is it just me, or did Dan Enright just not give a damn about his shows? I mean, I think the last one he actually cared about was Bumper Stumpers in 1987, but that could be attributed to Wink Martindale. Want proof that Dan Enright didn't give a damn? Take a look at the set, because he readied this and he gave it the go-ahead. Much like its sister show Hold Everything, the set was lifeless and dull. All it entailed was 2 25-seat audience raisers, 7 chairs, 2 microphones, and 2 Texas Instrument monitors, and 1 mic stand to resemble a middle podium. And a game show host who's more window dressing than anything host. So now let's actually talk about the window dressing in David Sparks. While he proved to be unexcited about a format that was made less funny than the original because of lazy clue writing and more of him wanting to be there to get paid so he didn't have to do the 1986 United States Championship Darts competition on ESPN, he proved to be kind of a dick on this show. He would often razz a contestant based on the interview, but unlike a Dawson or a Forsythe, he didn't have the charm to be razzing. Also, with Sparks, you get the usual Sparks treatment of being there for the check. So, yay! On to the actual game of All About the Opposite Sex. The game can be summed up as follows. One side is given a situation that relates to that side. Then David gives the side some choices, and the other side has to predict what answer had the biggest response. Doing so earns points, and the team with the most points at the end wins $1,000. To be split 7 ways. I howl at this big time. 1, it's 1990, and $1,000 is cheap for syndication. Heck, it's even cheap for cable. And 2, $1,000 split 7 ways is something a little under $160. That can't even get you rent for a month, or a down payment on a used car. It buys you literally nothing. Now to the actual rules. In round 1, David reads the situation to one sex and the 3 possible answers to that situation, and then he calls on a member of the opposite sex to predict what answer was the most popular. For each one that said what the person predicted, they get 1 point. But before we do that, David invites one member of the team to come up with their answer, and the member of the opposite sex that was picked has to predict what that one person said. If they match that person, then each member of the opposite sex that said what that person predicted is worth 2 points. It works, I guess, but it's just so boring and drags on and on and on. By the time round 1 expires, we have spent 9 minutes and only on 2 situations. Round 2 is the same as round 1, but this time the person who predicted what answer the majority of the opposite sex said also has to predict what member of the team said the same answer. If they do, then the points are doubled that way. Same thing as round 1, still just as boring. Round 3 speeds up the proceedings where David invites up a member of one sex and then reads a situation to the other team, and only the team with 2 possible answers. The team must predict what answer the one woman would say. If they predict correctly, then the team score is doubled. We'll keep doing this and flip-flopping between teams until time runs out, and the team with the most points wins the money. And that's all about the opposite sex. It's bland, it's boring, it's nothing that has been done better elsewhere, and David Sparks sleepwalking through the show is of no help whatsoever. This show sucked! Along with Hold Everything, and both were canceled within 9 weeks to be replaced by Tic-Tac-Toe 90. Oh dear God! But thankfully that is also the end of David Sparks' hosting career. He would continue to do other shows for TV and also do other stuff. I mean, he's now coaching women's tennis for the University of Washington, and he also do some farm radio show for Washington as well. But that's about it. He's also proof that you can't sleepwalk and host at the same time. Otherwise, you wind up hosting Double Dutch on ESPN. I don't know what else to say about David Sparks. But let's go to Randy and Jason. I think they have something on them.
Friendly tomorrow. Anyway, good luck to both of you. I'm going to bed. Thank you so much.
I think that's how Walter Cronkite used to sign off the nightly news. And as they parted ways, one thing was for sure. They both believed Sparks to be a total tool.
Well, can't top that. Goodbye.